Well, good evening and welcome to SAFC Fan TV, another edition of the Sunday Bunch. A little bit different tonight as well. We're trying something new. We are actually, I hope, fingers crossed, we are streaming live simultaneously to Facebook as well on our SAFC Fan TV Facebook page. We are live on there as well, I think. Joining us tonight, we have the Mad Mistake. How's your Sunday been, Terry?
Yeah, it's been a bit indifferent. I've been stripping out the downstairs bathroom because it needs sorting out, and I'm going to been for me run, but it's been difficult in the snow trying to find somewhere nice and dry on a path. But not too bad, not too bad.
Nice one. We're joined by Jack Shields tonight. Jack's normally a regular member to the channel on a Thursday. Have you had a good day, Jack?
Yeah, it's been all right. Done absolutely nothing apart from watch football. Really.
Whoa. Sorry. I'm all over the place. I do apologise. Sorry, Jack. Go on.
Just saying I haven't done very much. I just sat and had me Sunday dinner and watched a bit of football. So it's been nice, relaxing Sunday.
That's what Sundays are for. Jacob down south, what you've been up to?
Yeah, more or less the same as Jack. You know, nice and chilled in the house, heating on full blast, watching football all day. So can't go wrong. Happy Sunday.
Nice one. Just very quickly, we are live, which means you can join us via the live chat. I have said we are going live on Facebook as well. So I'm not 100% certain that if you comment on Facebook, whether we'll get them through here or not, I don't know. But it's all an experiment. But you can join us via the live chat if you want to join in the show. Already on there. Las Palmas Mackham, who is normally first, but Taffy got in there before you with a little joke. Jack Ludlow is there, Robert Foster, John Forbes, Jimmy Nefarious, Dave, Tim Wolfenden, and Spannerman Jeff Holcroft as well. I'm not going to lie. I was at a wedding yesterday. I was at Emma Wilson's wedding, who's a fan of the show, who was down there. So I didn't actually get to see the game. I've watched the highlights of it. Cambridge United 1, Sunderland 2. Jacob, you was down there. What did you think overall?
A well thought out win, battle and scrap, but got there in the end in really terrible conditions, particularly in the second half. It was like there was a wind turbine on the pitch, which contributed to our first goal, to be fair. A whipped in corner from Pritchard. The wind caught it, and I think it went in off one of their defenders in the end. But can't complain, you know, as we were attacking the end where the wind was blowing towards us in the second half. It was hard for us to really stick to one certain game plan other than go ultra defensive, which the lads done well to see out the game. You know, questioned whether, you know, this team's, their heads drop after we concede a goal. You know, it was a sloppy goal to concede. Hoffman, I think, should have done better, but, you know, we were still at it, you know, got in their faces, played of a high press, and I thought first half terrific. And goal of the season contender for Nathan Broadhead, fantastic strike on his weak foot as well. 2-1 win. Lovely away day. Cambridge fans, shout out to them also. Really, really friendly bunch. But yeah, I really enjoyed yesterday. Fantastic away day. 2-1 win. Brilliant result.
Nice one. Just very quickly there. Emma Wilson is on the chat. Hello, lad, she says, and saying still haven't watched the highlights. A job for tonight. I must admit, Emma was there, and I was trying to sort of pass the scores. I was having a sneaky look at my phone and passing the scores over on her wedding day. So thanks for inviting us, Emma. A great day we had down there. Rough as a Badger says, all right, fellas. To the channel. What's that? Any bit of an echo there? We all right? Right. Also on there, Michael Bramley, Charlie McKeever, and Thane is with us as well. Philly, you can watch the full 90 back next day on the SFC website. We will try that. Jack, you went down to Cambridge. What did you think?
Yeah, the conditions were a big factor. You're never going to see a really good game. Horrible wind, as Jacob said. very, very cold as well. I don't know what other fans thought, but it was one of the coldest matches I can remember in recent times. And yeah, we had that win in the first half, so it was very important. I felt that we went into the second half with a 1-goal advantage. We got a bit of luck perhaps with the corner. I don't know if that was what was intended with the corner, but it was put in a dangerous area. It ended up bobbling in. I thought the goal conceded was a little bit sloppy, to be fair. I thought the lad comes in, gets a shot in, keeper should probably save it. A little bit of a sloppy, soft goal to give away. But the good thing for me was we reacted. We straight away got back on the front foot. We weren't passive like we have been in recent times. And obviously, absolute worldie from Broadhead in the top corner. And then second half, it's just about seeing the game out. You know, can we weather the storm? Pardon the pun. Can we see it out? Can we make sure that we're solid and steady at the back? I felt we restricted them really. There was only the odd chance really that they got, which was marginal. Do you know what I mean? There was 1 or 2 half opportunities, but it wasn't like we're under bombardment. It was just about managing it. But I think that's where we've come unstuck in this league in the last few years, is that we haven't seen games like that out. We have dropped points in soft, scrappy games whereby we haven't got over the line. So it was nice to see the game out and get 3 points. And I think it was a good win. You know, Lee Johnson's come under pressure, so might ease a little bit of that. We've now got 3 home games in a row, all in the league. Back at the Stadium Light and on a more better footing, shall we say, than that game that we played yesterday. You know, familiar surroundings, and yeah, it was a good, solid win.
Nice one. Just very quickly, back to the chat. Marianne and Carl Taylor, our friends from Boston, Massachusetts, say, hi, fellas, good win, but Diaco is cack, weak as P. I know, I don't ask Carla or Mariana, not a fan of him. They've also donated $5 saying Diaco been poor for the last few games, awful buy. He is just on loan, I believe, isn't he? He is on loan, is he?
Yeah.
But anyway, $5 donated. Come have a round of applause, please, for Marianne and Carl Taylor over in Boston, Massachusetts. And of course, if you'd like to donate to the channel, it does help with the running costs of it. So you can do so by just clicking on the $sign, which is at the bottom of the chat. And there's a slider where you can select how much you'd like to donate. It's all gratefully accepted. Thank you. 36 likes as well. Just hit the thumbs up while you're there. And don't forget to subscribe. It is free to do that. Terry, yesterday, 2-1 win down at Cambridge. What did you think overall?
Yeah, it was like more of the same from the Shrewsbury match in the first half. We started off looked pretty good, actually. I mean, Gooch had a much better game than the Shrewsbury game. He's probably almost my man of the match for the match. He sort of settled into the side a lot better. He come on because Evans got injured in the warm-up. So we have got plenty of injuries now, 8, 9 or 10 with McGeady out for 3 months. And the match it was kind of better for Cambridge because they had the sort of, in the second half, the wind helping them, where we didn't really press as much as I thought with the wind to our advantage in the first half. So they knew exactly what to do after seeing how we played the first half. So with a couple of decent shots and with Pritchard's goal helped them by the wind, and obviously when Broadhead strikes that, the wind helps that as well because it went in like a rocket. So Cambridge knew with second half what they had to do. They had to pin us back and go for the jugular and get ball in into the penalty box. It was a matter of seeing it out. I mean, Hoffman, he didn't do himself any much favours really with the goal in the first half, and the defenders as well didn't do that well. Doyle was playing the left hand side. Flanagan came back in. So they sort of, once we scored the goal, I thought we were going to get a couple of more goals, but it didn't happen. Cambridge came back into the game, and you've got to sort of praise Cambridge for that. And they got the goal, for me, a very sloppy goal, but they equalised. And then I was over the moon when Broadhead scored that wonder strike. I mean, he's starting to show his real class now after being sort of injured and getting into the team. He did have opportunities in the second half, mind, to kill the game off, which didn't take, which was a disappointment. But Hoffman made up for his first half mistake, and I think that he played a good part in the second half. He kept the clean sheet in the second half, kept the crosses from coming across, punching them out, and a lot of defending from Sunderland who were basically just sat back and soaked up the pressure. I was crying out for substitutions to be made because Diaco needed to come off because, like them said, he's weak as piss. For me, Diaco was probably the weakest link in the whole side yesterday. I mean, he didn't have a really bad game, but he was the weakest link, and we needed really to sort of have an outlet from being bombarded in defence. But it's the first time I've seen the Sunderland team in a good 6, 7 games actually play for the manager, actually play for the shirt, actually play for a bit of pride and passion for the fans. They put a shift in yesterday for once. They played as a team.
Can I jump in there, Terry? Do you not think first half against Shrewsbury was all right, though?
It was all right, but it wasn't like, I mean, when it comes to the nitty-gritty of a match, that's when you want to see people stand up and be counted. The first half against Shrewsbury, we dominated all right, but Shrewsbury, sort of had 1 or 2 opportunities, but we did all right, we played well, we played better. But in the second half, we didn't stand up and be counted. We let Shrewsbury bombard us and dominate us. We let Shrewsbury get their equaliser away yesterday. Even though Cambridge dominated with the wind, we stood up yesterday and fought tooth and nail for that result. Yesterday, you could see they were playing with a bit of pride, a bit of passion. Probably not as much with Jago, because, I mean, he wasn't really coming back and tracking back as much as I wanted to, and sort of he didn't really hold the ball that well when he was up top. But, I mean, the rest of the team, especially the defenders, I mean, Bailey Wright for me had a good game. Winchester in the middle had another good game. Pritchard again, he was over the moon, because, I mean, he was dejected with that interview on Tuesday night where I'm over the moon for him, because he was so pleased with that when he scored from the corner. He ran off and he was giving us some of this. Absolutely loved it. So it was a better all-round team performance. It wasn't a finished article. It wasn't a great spectacle. We could have done a lot better. But yesterday I saw a bit of passion and a bit of pride from the lads.
Right, fair enough. Just very quickly then on the chat, David K says, good win, but like someone said, need a run of results starting against Oxford. Dean SAFC says a win's a win. P. Nelestino, Giaco on loan. Game Boy Ben also says to Marianne and Carl, but we haven't bought him though. Thane, friend of the show, says very impressed with the performance yesterday. First half, total control. Second half, sat back. Conditions weren't great, but dealt with the wind better than them. We had chances on the counter. Also, Jack's in there. Jack Dodds, who's part of the channel down here, says great game management is probably a short summary of it, I think, which is pretty good considering, the management seem to have been getting a lot of stick recently. Do you think, before we go on to the next topic, is it worth doing our poll again, do you think, for the Johnson in, Johnson out, to see how it keeps swinging? Do we not?
It's up to you, Gaffer.
I'm not too fussed, to be honest. I mean, I'm getting a bit bored of it now. Yeah,
it's just the point to see how, like, there was a 25% swing from when we won against Ipswich to then Shrewsbury, and it seems strange that people can just all of a sudden go out, in, out.
It seems It seems to me though yesterday as well, when you watched the post-match interview from Lee Johnson, he seems to be a bit more on our level. I don't know if he's taken note of what he's been doing in his interviews, but yesterday's interview was a better watch. It was more palatable on the mind. I could understand what he was saying, and it was basically, just describe what happened in the game, not talking any of this shite and gobbledygook he normally comes out with.
Yeah, but Terry, does it matter what he says in a post-match?
Yeah, it does, because if a game's shite and we play shite, what's the point in spinning it around to something else? Well, you've got to say what it is.
Yeah, but maybe, Terry, that is the way this whole new plan we have for going forward, building from the bottom up, maybe that's even part of it. Maybe, I don't know, they have all sorts of coaches and stuff in now. And I know you don't like it, so talking plain English would satisfy you. But
people have got to grow and learn from the mistakes. If Lee Johnson wants to keep his job, wants to perform and do well, Lee Johnson's got to adapt to the situation. We as fans, we want to see an honest opinion after a game, regardless if we win, lose or draw. We want to see somebody come out and make sense of the game, somebody on our level. We don't want to have someone spinning a load of rubbish up that makes no sense. Parkinson was the same. He just talked absolute nonsense after the game. We want honest opinions. Then we'll respect people more.
No, Terry, you want that. Who's to say that he's not saying to the players what you would like to say? Yeah, he's coming out. I mean, Dino summed it up on Thursday. He said he doesn't watch post-match interviews and stuff like that.
A lot of fans do, though. A lot of fans do.
Yeah, fair enough. But you've got to admit, a lot of it is very PC. You've got to say the right things and whatever. You cannot.
PC's not talking shite. PC's not saying good point against 10 men at Shrewsbury, a difficult place to go when they're fourth off bottom.
Terry, you're not telling me, right? Any manager can go on camera, right, and say exactly what he thinks, because they can't. It's like with the referees; they can't criticize a referee and
you can say exactly what you think, but you don't make up rubbish.
No,
Phil, are you still pissed? What are you even talking about? You're making no sense. You talk like Dave Johnson sometimes. You're making absolute nonsense of what you're saying. Honest to God. Just move on next subject, because you're talking nonsense.
You can't say move on because you don't like it.
Well, are you still pissed?
No, the thing is, Terry, is a manager cannot say their true feelings in an interview. Simple as that.
We don't want any sort of bullshit that's going to get them banned. What's wrong with saying the honest thing? We didn't play very well. We were poor. The defence was poor. Second half, we give away a goal. I'm really disappointed. I'm really upset. The players were upset. That's fine. Don't start making up rubbish saying, by the way, mind, it was a really difficult game against 10 men. By the way, don't disrespect the point. That's bollocks.
Why does it matter?
It does, because every single interview, if you're going to talk rubbish bit by bit, you're going to lose the fans one by one. And as a manager, you need the fans on your side. Simple as, once you lose the fans, you lose respect, you lose your position.
But if he's winning every game, right, he can say, we're off to eat some fairy cakes now, because it won't matter. Because so long as we get the win and the 3 points.
But we haven't been.
But we've got 7 out of 9, Terry, are we?
Yes, and he talked sense yesterday. Listen to the interview yesterday. Listen to the post-match interview. Do you listen to any interviews?
But it doesn't. Yeah.
Do you listen to any interviews, or you're not bothered?
Yes, I do listen. Of course I listen to the interviews.
Have you heard the one today about Lee Johnson yesterday? Have you watched it?
Yes, but it doesn't matter. What
it does matter.
He can say it doesn't. He can say
it doesn't matter.
What matters?
Let's have a poll. Philly, doesn't matter. No. Yes, me. Jack.
What?
Yeah, I think so. I think the way that you come across to the fans and the way that you project your philosophy, if you like, or your ideas to the fans, I think it does matter. I'm not saying we should be hanging on his every word, Phil, but I do think what the way that you convey your kind of message after the match and what you thought of the match, whether it's you have to give some sort of realism to it. His comments after the game on Tuesday against Shrewsbury were ridiculous, I thought.
The thing is,
Jack, tell on Jack, doesn't matter. I mean, Jacob, doesn't matter.
I think it matters 100% what he says in an interview, to be honest. But I do understand the point, what Philly says. Sometimes as a manager, you are restricted for what you can and can't say. Obviously, we don't know. There could be a clause in his contract.
We understand that, but that means nothing about being honest.
No, but I do. Recently, like things he said on Tuesday, that really infuriated people with his post-match comments against. I mean, there was a comment also he made away at Sheffield Wednesday after the game, so we won the game between the boxes. I mean, we lost the game 3-0. I mean, that didn't make sense in the slightest. But I think as long as the team is showing passion that they're willing to play for him, I think what he says in his I think all he can do really is just praise the lads on the pitch, really. I mean, I know he has to take some stick as well, but also it's important as a manager to admit responsibility as well in an interview.
Right. Well, let me quickly say, I reckon if we're winning every game and there's 3 points going in the bag every time, I don't think the fans will give one jot of what he's saying. It won't matter what he's saying. If we're winning every game and we're top of the league, he can say whatever he wants.
We're not talking about that, Phil. We're talking about games where we lose, we get beaten, we play awful, and then he comes out and says, we were great, fantastic, we won, beat box to box, or, don't disrespect the point. Yeah. That's what we're talking about.
So what's the difference? What's the difference then between you're saying if he's winning, right, winning every week, he can say what he wants?
No, he's speaking the truth. He's speaking the truth. He actually talked about the game yesterday. He didn't make any gibberish up. He didn't make any bullshit up. He talked about the game, which were facts. Facts. Simple as. When we get beat, he makes excuses up, talks gibberish, and blames different things.
But when he says getting a point at Shrewsbury, yes, we want to go down to Shrewsbury and win, right? The thing is we know these teams, right, raise their game against Sunderland because Sunderland are the biggest team in this league, and it's 23 teams cup final when we play them, right? And they do it. So it is difficult. There's no team in this league is a pushover. Go on, Jack.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Phil, but I think it's about standards for me. And I think by coming out and saying what he said on Tuesday night, it projected the image that we should be grateful, we should be happy with that point. And I think what that means is to fans, certainly to me and probably Terry, that means going forward that Lee Johnson will be happy with results like that, and more times like that. If we get poor results, he'll think, oh, well, that's okay, that's acceptable. And in my opinion, against the 10-man Shrewsbury team, you should be expecting to win the game. And I'm sorry, and people on the chat are saying don't dig individuals out. I'm not saying Lee Johnson had to come out afterwards and say, oh, he was to blame, or this person was to blame, or that person was to blame. But I think he had to come across to the fans and recognise that performance wasn't, that result in that performance wasn't acceptable. And by coming out and saying it's a tough place to come and it's a point that we didn't have and all that, I just think it projects the wrong image, I think.
Well, the thing is, I'll come to you in a sec, Jacob. I think it's how you perceive what was said, right? I don't think he was making it sound like we were grateful to get a point. I think I didn't see it like that. But everyone will see it. It's like when you watch a football match. Two people can watch the same match and have completely different opinions on it. Similar as that. It's how you, like I said, it's how you perceive what he said. Jacob?
I mean, I think Lee Johnson's the sort of manager, you know, how he comes across in his interviews. Like he likes to protect his players as well. You know, he's not a manager that would like normally dig them out in, was it a post-match interview? You know, it's just not in his nature for him to do that, because he wouldn't want the players to lose confidence over that. But you have to get the balance right. You know, if a player does, you know, not perform at his best, obviously not officially single them out, but you've got to show your frustration and get across to the players that the performance was simply, you know, not good enough. I think, you know, potentially you could look at, you know, his comments down at Shrewsbury on Tuesday. He's indicating the fact there's a lot of injuries in the side at the moment as well. But at the same time, you know, what's that going to say to the players that are fit? Is that basically implying that those players are not good enough? Or is he just saying that just for letting people understand the situation we're in right now? But to be fair, you know, if we can get a couple of decent results under our belt with, because this is a very injury hit squad, let's be fair, you know, 09 out for 3 months, McGeady is as well. You know, the injury list is, what was it, ranking up at the moment? Was it Corey Evans got injured yesterday as well? So I think he's just trying to let his frustrations known, but at the same time, it's getting the balance right and saying the right words.
Right, okay. Just very quickly, before we move on the chat here, Brad Denton says, don't think Portsmouth, Sheffield, Ipswich and Wickham see Sunderland as a cup final. Poor excuse. I think Ipswich sold out, going to have their first capacity when they play Sunderland. So, you know...
That just means we've got a lot of fans going there as well, Phil.
I don't think we've sold out yet for that one.
We'll have a lot of fans going there.
Oh, yeah, we'll sell out.
But it's you know, are you trying to say that Sunderland's not a big pull to any one of these teams, even the likes of Portsmouth, Sheffield, Ipswich?
Doesn't mean it's a cup final.
Well, I think we have to accept that, Phil. Do you know what I mean? If we're going to have the biggest budget in the league, we've got to accept that teams may raise the game against us, and it's something that we have to cope with. Do you know what I mean? It still
absolutely,
doesn't mean
absolutely.
It's a good result.
Jack, totally agree with you. Right, let's move on to again the game yesterday. Callum Doyle at left back. How did he do? Like I said, I've not seen the full game. So, Terry?
Much better. I thought he played well. I thought he was getting forward a lot. I mean, it was kind of his fault, not just for the goal, but it was sort of the first stage of the goal. He got beat easy, and then the lad had a 1-2, and then he beat a couple of defenders in the box, and then he beat Hoffman. So, I mean, there was 3 or 4 could have stopped that ball getting into the penalty box and going in the back of the net. But apart from that, I thought Doyle did really well. Ran forward with the ball a lot, overlapped a lot. I thought it was one of his better games, to be fair. His passing was a lot better.
Right, fair enough. Jacob, was it a surprise to you seeing him at left back, and how did you think he played?
Well, he was always going to, tweak the side defensively, considering, Corey Evans got injured in the warm-up, and I thought he'd done very well. You know, him at left back, like Terry said, you know, there were times yesterday he showed willingness to take players on. You know, he was comfortable on the ball, you know, linking up with the players in the middle, you know, to overlap his marker and then, get into decent positions at the other end of the pitch. You know, he got the balance right in the second half as well. You know, great character and leadership, communicating with his back four, with their corners being whipped in with the wind, getting on the end of it and then almost swinging it into the, you know, all the players back on the line. You know, he was part of a really organised defence yesterday. And, you know, he should pat himself on the back. A really, really good performance.
Right, fair enough. I'm sure I saw in one of his interviews before that he was going to sort of mix it up because of the injuries. He was going to have to play players, you know, in unorthodox positions. Jack, Callum Doyle, left back.
Yeah, I thought he did a lot better. I think he was like, was it not like left of the three? So I don't know if he was like an out and out left-sided back. I think it was more of like a left-sided centre back, if that makes sense. Like centre half, but on the left-hand side. But I felt he coped very, very well with a lot of balls that were coming in the air. That, you know, that I mean, Cambridge basically resorted to long balls in the wind and then trying to get second balls and knockdowns. And he won a lot in the air, and then he won a lot of the knockdowns and sort of carried it out a few times as well, which was good because you do need some way to relieve the pressure when you're getting a lot of aerial balls coming in, and he did get it down and try and get us on the attack a little bit. So yeah, much better. I think it was quite a mature performance as well. Sometimes it can be, you know, as a young lad, as a defender, sometimes it can be you forget that he's only sort of 17, 18-year-old or whatever he is. So I thought it was a mature, confident performance, and he's had a bit of bad form recently, so it was nice to see him look a bit more solid and a bit more, hopefully, like his normal self.
Fair enough. Just very quickly on the chat, because I was going to go on to on the formations. Before we do, 179 people on YouTube watching, 3 people watching on Facebook. That's been successful then, hasn't it? 60 likes. Just hit the thumbs up if you would, please. 2 people don't like. Well, I was going to say don't like us. 2 people don't like me. And don't forget, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It is free to do so. The formation yesterday, again, like I say, I'm a bit blind to this because I've not seen the game. When I've been on different apps, one particular said a 3-4-1-2. Thane, I think, is in there, said it was a 3-4-3. Terry, I'll start with you because you're always banging on about he never changed anything. Did he change the formation? And if he did, is that why we performed better?
To be honest, I wasn't quite sure at the start. I mean, 4-2-3, what we normally started off, I'm not quite sure if we did, to be honest, if we did start that the way it was, because Gooch was sort of the right back, but he might have changed as the game goes on. But I'm not very good at saying our formations to keep the change up. I'm just commentating on the match. So, I mean, for me, he might have played 3 at the back.
Terry and singing.
He might have played, exactly. He might have played 3 at the back and he might have played 4 at the back. So, I mean, it chops and changes through the games. I just want to wish Thane, you know, I hope you get well soon, mate, because I heard you got COVID. So I do hope you get better soon, Thane.
Yeah, everybody on the channel then wish our wishes to Thane get well soon. Or you're not too ill. I hope you've had your jabs. Jack, the formation, how did you see it? I mean, like I said, down here, 3-4-1-2, which seeing 2 up front was nice to see. If that's what it was, I don't know.
Was definitely 3 centre backs. Definitely 3 centre backs with the two full backs. So like 2 adds in midfield and then 2 in the middle. It was definitely 3.
Sorry, Jack. I think Lee Johnson did say 5 at the back, didn't he?
Yeah, well,
in his interview,
depends what your class is. You can either class it as 5 at the back with wing backs, or 3 with 2, further forward. I don't know. Broadhead did seem to be a lot closer to Ross Stewart than in recent weeks, which is one of the things that I've been critical of Sunderland, particularly away from home, in the last few weeks. And I think it may be down to you can maybe put the blame on this for Ross Stewart's lack of form and lack of goals recently, because I think a lot of the time we've been expecting him to kind of win headers and hold the ball up and play as a front man on his own. And we haven't really been getting enough people up to support him when he has won the ball. So he's kind of left on a lurch and have ended up losing the ball. But I felt that Broadhead was a lot closer to Ross Stewart yesterday. Again, Ross Stewart didn't have his best of games, but I think, you do need players up alongside Ross Stewart. And I think that Broadhead did get closer to him. So whether or not it was 2 up front or 1 just off, I don't really pay too much attention to the actual tactic, in terms of the numbers. But I definitely noticed that Broadhead was closer to Ross Stewart, and I think that influenced influenced Broadhead having a better game. Right.
Before coming to you, Jacob, just quickly want to go at the chat. Flash Goal 99 says, I've said Lee Johnson in for ages and people disagreed and now they want him in. I wouldn't say they all want him in. again, I'm not a fan of this "I told you so," because whether you wanted him in and he does well, you go, well, I said, or you wanted him out and he gets sacked and you say, well, I told you. You know, at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We all want a successful Sunderland side. I want to give a shout out to Salad Dodger 82, probably a good friend of Dino's if he's a Salad Dodger. You're good, lads. I'm a Rotherham fan and he likes watching other fans and stuff like that, see how other clubs are doing. So welcome to the channel. Sitting pretty at the top of the league, Rotherham, although we do have a game in hand over you and we're just 3 points behind you. So welcome to the channel. And don't forget, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Hit the subscribe button. It is free. Jacob, formation yesterday. What did you think? And did it make a difference?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, considering the fact, you know, some players were playing out of position, but, you know, I thought some of the players held their own. I think there were even times where Diaku, he had to, drop back and perform on the defensive perform on a defensive level. And, you know, when he was called upon, I think at times in that area, you know, some people thought he was a little bit weak, but I thought that when he was going forward with the ball, but tracking back, I thought he was a lot better. Gooch on the other side as a right wing back, I think will be the option going forward because of the injuries we have. I know personally, I feel that Lyndon Gooch, when he's played in a wing back role, his defensive frailties do get exposed. I mean, I won't, praise Lyndon? Obviously, I'll praise him for yesterday, but I think we need to see at least 3 or 4 good games in a row from him in that position for him.
Hang on, Jay.
Receive a lot more.
What I've found with Gooch, me personally, I don't know how you feel yourselves. I think you get 1 good game in 5. I think something like that with Gooch. Yeah. It can be brilliant, and then it can be shocking for go on.
Yeah, but I mean, we've got to show, obviously, because normally 09 would be in that area, but we've got to show belief that he can go on. Have 3 or 4 brilliant games on the spin, but top end of the pitch? You know, I think there was times where Broadhead was dropping deeper yesterday to receive the ball, almost playing in the number 10 role, and Pritchard was overlapping him. And I thought his hold-up play as well as his goal was very good. I think the combination play between him and Ross Stewart will get better as the games go along. I mean, there was periods in the second half where we could have put the game to bed. I think on a good day, you know, some of those chances and that combination play would have led to a goal. And I feel that will be the way going forward. And I think we're, with the style Lee Johnson goes with, I think we're a much more solid side. If we're going to play the ball out from the back, you have to go over 3 playing wing backs. And I think Bailey Wright, Flanagan and Doyle in there, I think will be the back 3 going forward, depending on how serious Corey Evans' injury is. I know he normally slots into a midfield role, but the last few times he's normally dropped back into the back 3. But yeah, overall, you know, there were players who yesterday they were asked to do a little bit more than usual. You know, being back on the goal line? Even Ross Stewart, you know, was defending very well from set pieces. So they can all pat themselves on the back yesterday, even though they may have been playing out of position.
Thanks, Jacob. You can have a drink now. I'll come to you just now, Terry. I quickly want to go at the chat. Anthony Perth says it was 4-4-2. Flash Goal 99 says a formation with 2 strikers will do me. And also down here on the chat, where we at? Jeff Allcroft, Spannerman, says, can we give a shout out to Carl Mawson at the Black Cat podcast, who hasn't been well at all. Carl's our friend down here, a good friend of the show. So get well soon, Carl. And of course, check out the Black Cat podcast. Make sure you go along there and subscribe to that. Help them out. Great channel as well. Terry, you was wanting in.
Yeah, Stewart does a lot of donkey work, doesn't he? Yes, he tracks back a lot and does a lot of work, has to come deep to find the ball. For me, service to Stewart is quite poor, to be honest, over the last few weeks. That's probably why he's dipped in form a little bit. He doesn't get many clear-cut opportunities. He's not fed the ball that much, so he's got to come really deep. His defensive duties have been fantastic, mind. And remember, with 3 points off the top, no games in hand over Wigan. So with 3 points off the top.
Yeah, fair enough. But the thing is when Wigan lose, you know, you've got to be half full rather than half empty. Yeah, I just I've lost my train of thought now. I was going to say something. You've lost us. Right. Well, let's
take
go
much
on.
when you half could.
Wait, I'm not, man. I'm on flipping
There's vodka in there. We all know there's vodka in there, Philly. Come on.
I don't even drink.
We all know you're celebrating a good victory yesterday.
I've got to go to work. Right. Just very quickly then. Starman yesterday, man of the match, Jack.
I thought Lyndon Gooch had a really good game, but I'd have to go Broadhead. Not just because, I mean, people will say, oh, it's just because he scored a worldie goal. It wasn't. I think what I liked about him was how he got the ball down, and he's really good at taking players on and dribbling and getting the ball down and creating opportunities. And I felt like he did that yesterday. I mean, it's easy to get drawn into a game when the wind's there, just a hoofball, particularly when you've got a kind of target man type striker like Ross Stewart. But I felt like he was threading balls through as best as he can to Ross Stewart, and he was picking up, getting on the end of things, and he was busy. And Cambridge looked like when he was really getting the ball down and attacking them, they didn't really have an answer to him a lot of the time. So I would have given it to Broadhead, but I did think Gooch had a very good game.
Right, fair enough. I've remembered what I was going to say because I'm old. I was in reply to you, Terry, on about Stewart. I think Stewart's been our best player all season. The fact his work rate is superb. It can be, in our box, in their box, and he just never gives up. And totally agree with that. Also, before I'm going to go to you next, Jacob, on your star man. What I want to do, Tam is in the live chat, says one lucky win, a wind assist, a worldie, and 45-minute battering, and people think we've turned a corner. Tam is one of those, who, well, if you like, sees it on a negative spin, which he's entitled to. Go on, Terry.
I'll defend Tam. It is a good win yesterday. We haven't turned the corner. It's going to be up and down all season. We need the lads to perform week in, week out the way they did yesterday, with a bit of passion, a bit of pride, a bit of determination, and we will get there. But injuries is going to take its toll. But, end of the day, it's better than losing. We all want to win. The next 3 home matches for me is a massive slice of the pie for this season. We could do with some good victories, these 3 home matches for me. If we get through these next 3 home matches without losing the game, or, winning a couple, or even winning 3, that's going to go massively towards the Christmas period.
Thing is, though, you can spin it out however you want. He's going one lucky win, a wind assist. Why don't we take the last 3 games and say 7 points from 9? And why we're on, Tam, because this is eating away at me since Thursday anyway, because, I'm a fan of Sunderland. I'm a passionate fan. And, he was the one who said, I was blaming the fans and stuff like that on Thursday. And what I was trying to say, which maybe I didn't get it across as well as I should have, is, at the end of the day, every fan pays his money. And if you want to boo in the ground, that's your prerogative. If that's what you want to do. Me personally, I would never do it. I don't like it. I don't think it should be done, right? And it doesn't achieve anything. For me, it's all about everybody staying positive, because surely that's the best thing. And that's what I was trying to get across. If you want to go to the ground and boo the team, you pay your money, you can do that. Me personally, I don't think it's a good idea. But anyway, Jacob, Starman yesterday.
Starman, there's a few to pick out from, but if I have to choose one, I have, criticised him a lot over the course of the season, but I thought Lyndon Gooch can done himself really proud yesterday, considering, he was originally meant to be on the bench. I think Corey Evans was meant to start, and his job at wing back, was it getting stuck in, tracking his man, stopping crosses, I thought was a lot better yesterday. And obviously we touched on the point earlier, we want to see it more from him, but surely a performance like that can give him a load of confidence. And don't forget also, he hasn't played wing back that much for Sunderland, and you never know, he could find this could be a more effective position for him as the season goes along. He could adapt into that role. So, yeah, Lyndon Gooch, terrific yesterday, but also brilliant performances from Bailey Wright at the back and Nathan Broadhead up front as well.
Right, fair enough. Moving on to you, Terry. Before we do, Tony Lee, friend of the show, says he booed McMenemy. Terry, Starman yesterday?
Well, I'll say it the way it is. I say it the way I see it. It's not always correct the way I see it, but I say it with passion, and I'll say it with, what I think, and I'll speak my mind, simple as. And I do give Lyndon Gooch some stick when he plays negative and plays bad. For yesterday, I thought for me, he just shaded it as man of the match. Much better performance than he did during the week against Shrewsbury. But there was some good performances from the back line, the whole back four, Winchester, Dan Neil, Everybody out there played well. I just thought Diaco was slightly off the pace than more than the rest of them. But I'll give it to Lyndon Gooch.
Right, fair enough. Back on the chat, Tony Lee says, I booed McMenemy, and I think you did too, Phil. What I will say about Laurie McMenemy is I remember I went to, he did, at the Sunderland Empire, he actually did a talking thing. And one of the things with Laurie McMenemy was everybody complained about the amount of money he'd been paid. And I always remember he was there on stage, and he said, at the end of the day, he was offered that money, right, and said, yeah, we're going to give you this amount of money to come and do this job. He said, and anybody who was offered money, you wouldn't turn around and say, well, it's all right, but you don't have to give me that much. You give me that much. And so I didn't think he was as bad as he was, although he wasn't good. Jacob.
Was he the manager that first took us down into the third division for the first time?
No, no, I don't think so. It was Dennis Smith was when was manager when
when we went back up.
I think McMenemy did take us down, didn't he? I think so.
I'm not sure.
Before my time, but...
Yeah.
Not before my time. I was at Roker Park when the Mags were in the ground when we played Gillingham, but let's not go there. Right. Also, just very quickly, 188 on the stream on YouTube. 5. We've got 5 now on Facebook. If you just hit the thumbs up, please. We've got 82 likes. We like to hit 100. If we can, 18 more people, and that would be great. And even better still, if you're watching and you're not a subscriber yet, please hit the subscribe button. It's free to do that, and it will help the channel immensely. Winchester played in a central role. From what I believe, did pretty good. Is that the way forward for him, Jack?
Yeah, I think so. I've said a few times over the last few weeks, I don't like this idea of shoehorning centre backs into full back. I don't think it really works. I don't think they have the defensive kind of nous to do it. We can cope okay with it, but I wouldn't think Winchester's at his best when he plays full back. He did okay early in the season, I must admit, and I thought it was really good decision to play him there initially when he bombed forward. He got a couple of goals, didn't he, towards the start of the season. But I think Winchester's actually a better footballer than people give him credit for. I think he'll not do anything flash, and you'll not maybe notice him as much as like a Nathan Broadhead who's pinging ones in the top corner. But I think Winchester does keep you ticking along, and I think he will put a tackle in. He will do a lot of the dog's body work in the middle, a lot of the harrying and harassing and the little neat passes and things like that. So I think Winchester does have a role to play in the centre mid. And if we've lost Corey Evans, I don't know how bad that injury is. Corey Evans, it might not be too bad, but I think we need as many options as we can there. I just hope in January we can get the proper full-back cover. If we can make a few signings, that would be the way I would go.
Right, fair enough. A few people on the chat saying it was Laurie McMenemy who took us down. Smith brought us back up. Jacob, you're trying to get in there?
What I like about Winchester also is when he's got space on the edge of the box, he's always got a sight for goal. He's always looking to hit that shot. Was it Dan Neil also? But Winchester, I think, he has got a decent hit on him. He should do it, have the belief to do it more often. I think came close yesterday on one occasion. And, I think one of them eventually, over the course, we'll see a few more. Hit the back of the net, from the edge of the box. He is an effective shooter on his day. I mean, he got that one against Wimbledon earlier on. I know that was deflected, but, he is always looking for a dig at goal, but he keeps the flow of the game moving so well in the middle of the park. And that partnership with Dan Neil is, let's not forget the partnership we had in the middle with Max Power and Josh Scowen last season. This partnership we've got in the middle now with Neil and Winchester's far more, there's more nous about it. There's more free flowing football. Last season, that is an area we struggled in. I think this season, that is one area where we can hold our heads up high.
Right, fair enough. Just very quickly on the chat, Colin Major says McManamy did take us down to the third division. Phil, Jack is right. However, we're getting people now saying Tony Lee says no. McManamy was sacked and Bob Stokoe was the official manager when we went down, although we were doomed anyway. DJ Sizzler Watson says Bob Stoker came in towards the playoffs. At the time, I don't know if you recall it, but there was playoffs at the bottom. So what happened was we played Gillingham, who ended up just outside their automatic playoffs, and we were just sort of outside the relegation, and we played each other, and they beat us over 2 legs, which is why I went down. That was the system they had then anyway. Terry, Winchester in a central role, is that the way forward?
100%, definitely, yeah. I mean, I think that Winchester and Dan Neil's the best midfield partnership we have. I'm not a massive fan of Evans, and so I think these two together. I think Winchester yesterday also as well drove into the penalty box and drew away a defender from Broadhead when Broadhead scored the strike. So that was good. Bit of intelligent play from Winchester as well. But yeah, he seems to get the ball, runs about a lot with the ball, passes the ball well, controls the ball. He is more sort of sideways and backwards than Dan Neil, but you need to have a player who can get the ball back, control the ball, and let another player like Dan Neil who can go forward and create the assists. So I think there will be a good partnership going forward. I thought the first half against Shrewsbury, they played well together until they made the substitutions to put Winchester back at right back. But we need to have, we've got plenty of centre-backs who I can play either 3 at the back, or we can play a left-sided centre-back on the left side and a right-sided, centre-back on the right side. We don't need to keep putting midfielders in left-back and right-back. Like Jack says, the way forward is to keep them in midfield.
Right. I totally agree with you. For Broadhead's goal, Winchester's run, when he went that way and took the play with him, was just, whether people have seen that or not, you need to watch that, and that was a cracking move because it did give him space to have that shot. Right, then what we'll do, obviously we're back on track now, 7 out of 9. So even you, Terry, I know you're going to say, I never said I wanted him out because you were saying I'll give him the next game and what have you. But for me, you've leaned that way. So, even you now can surely see it was a blip what we're being on, right? 7 points from 9. Does it now instill confidence in you going forward?
Well, not likely. Look, I'll say it the way it is. I speak from the heart, my feelings and everything. I'm not a massive Lee Johnson fan, never have been, not my choice. But I always support him while he's a manager. I'll never boo the bloke, and I want him to succeed. I kind of give Lee Johnson advice. He's his own man. He would never listen to me in the first place. But I want the team to succeed. Against Ipswich, we're dead lucky. Against Shrewsbury, we were poor second half. And yesterday, we actually came together a team and performed well. So we need to do this more. It's okay turning up and doing it one day. We're not doing it the next 3 days. We need to make sure we do this all the time. We're not always going to win every single match, but we want to see the players play with passion, wear the hearts on the sleeves, play together as a team, as a unit. And we want to see Lee Johnson exactly the same. We want Lee Johnson to perform on the touchline as someone who gives a shit, somebody who cares, somebody who makes the decisions, the right decisions, So we do all together, all Sunderland fans want the team to win and succeed. The jury's still out, Phil. The jury's still out. There's a long way to go. And the way it's been going, we've won 11, we've lost 5. We're playing bad games, playing good games. Till we start getting a sort of a string of results together where the lads are actually performing week in, week out, then I'll say we're over the blip.
I'm just the thing is I don't know what it's going to take, right, for people to eventually sort of get on side. I mean, you do realise that
it'll take, Phil. It'll take not to go away and get smashed by Portsmouth, not to go away and get smashed by Rotherham, not to go away and get smashed by Sheffield Wednesday, not to stay at home and get beat off Charlton, have a poor display and get dominated by Ipswich. Yes, that's what it's going to take to change those results around, using your common sense, making some of those. You don't have to get smashed. A draw will do against Portsmouth. A draw will do against Rotherham. A draw would have done against Sheffield Wednesday. We want the teams not to give up. We want to play with passion and use the brains and understand football, understand what the fans want.
But Terry, at the beginning of the season, right, if you said you was going to lose this season to Rotherham, Sheffield Wednesday, I mean, we beat Ipswich. I mean, there you go. We get 3 points against Ipswich, and there's still complaints because it was a shit performance. there's just no pleasing people. You do realise that when we play Oxford on Saturday, which is our game in hand, and nobody...
Only a game in hand over some teams, not over Wigan. Stop being delusional. Wigan have played the same as us. They got 3 points more than us. Better goal difference more than us.
Right, okay. The team at the top, Rotherham...
Which is joint 3. We can't overtake Rotherham on goal difference.
Listen, we can. If we win 15-0 on Saturday...
Now who's being delusional?
Well, you're saying...
Who's being delusional?
No, what I'm saying is you're saying we can't go above them.
We cannot. We cannot.
Of course we can. If we win 15-0, we can.
When was the last time we won 15-0?
Oh, it's not going to happen, Terry.
Exactly. So what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Just win the game.
What I'm talking about is
we'll go level on points.
What you're saying? You're saying this. Just.
I'm saying we won't go top. We'll go joint top.
You're saying disregard this game in hand because of Wigan. We got 2 games in hand.
It's not the game in hand over Wigan. It's the game in hand over the other teams.
Yeah, we got 2 games in hand over some of them. But what we are on Saturday, right? We could actually go top. It's not going to happen. I know
joint top.
No, we could go top.
We can't go top. Full stop.
Of course we can.
We can't.
If we win 15-0, we go top.
There you go. You make no sense, Phil.
No, I'm making perfect sense. It's not going to.
So what's the point of saying it's not going to happen?
Terry, it's not going to happen.
When have we ever won 15-0 in the league?
No, Terry, you're saying we can't go top.
We cannot.
We can.
We cannot.
Terry, listen to me.
You can talk goggly goop all you want. You can talk Lee Johnson's language if you want. We're not going to go top.
Terry, be sensible.
No, listen. I'm not going to say yes because we won't.
Well, is it not possible if we win 15-0, do we go top?
It's not possible we can win 15-0. No, it's not possible.
Of course it's possible.
It's not.
It's unlikely, but it's possible.
100%. It's 100% unlikely.
What's the record score for a football match? 32-0 or something? Something like that.
We're wasting time for 8 minutes to go. Move on. Come on.
Because you're being pedantic and you won't just admit that we could go top.
We won't.
No, we won't. I know we won't.
Exactly. So move on. You're just going to keep on going over the same thing. You're wasting time. Move on.
We have to move on. When you're in the wrong, we have to move on. When you're
I'm just saying we won't go top. If you don't like the answer, don't have us on the show.
Right. Anyway. Oh. You go chucking your toys out the pram.
No, I'm saying the way it is.
Very well. Right. Listen. If we win 2-0, we'll go third. So now, was it a blip? And are you a bit more confident now, Jack?
I think those 3 results will have done Lee Johnson in the world of good. I think there is some supporters I think he's turned, some supporters against him now, whereby he'll never convince some that he's the right man, which is fair enough. I think I said when he was going through his bad run, I think he needs 7 out of 9 points. That's exactly what he's got. So would I say he deserves it? Perhaps, maybe December and January, maybe so. I think we do. He has sort of arrested the decline. I think it's important to remember, though, that one result, or a couple of results shouldn't change a lot. I think we're still a team, work in progress. We're not a team that's going to go out and get 95 points and course this league, but I think we will be in the mix up for it. We'll be in the mix for automatic promotion. So it's very early days yet. We're not even half the way through the season. So who's to say what will happen in the second half of the season? He has got a reputation of a manager that will go through streaks. So maybe he's been through his bad streak. Maybe this is the start of his good streak. Who knows? But I wouldn't be putting too much kind of emphasis on Saturday's result because it was all about just managing the conditions, and we got over the line. Now we've got 3 big home games, and I think performances and results are what you need, though. I think if you get the performance without the result, and you get the result without the performance, we seem to have not played really well and won that many games this season. We have edged a lot of results, not really played well in too many games. I think if people can see us playing well and winning, then that'll turn a lot of people in his favour.
Right, fair enough. I'm going to come to you in a sec, Jacob. Try and keep it brief because we're running out of time because Terry wouldn't on the chat down here. Where was it? Don't call me Mackham says Terry is a realist. Listen, I don't want for 1 minute think that we'll win 15-0 at all. I don't.
Really?
I'm just trying to say that it's, if it happens. Right. Also, Salad Dodger, the Rotherham fan, says Lee Johnson hardly didn't shout any instructions at all He just sat halfway between the dugouts. Johnson was clueless at that game. It sort of rings a bell with the people saying about his hands in his pockets and stuff like that. Jacob, are you a bit more confident now after 7 points out of 9?
I would say more pleased than confident, to be fair. I mean, let's not forget, next week is one of the games that we have got in hand. What's happened whenever we've played fixtures in hand over the last 3 seasons in League One, we normally was it throw away the opportunity. So next week's a big game. Surely the players have got to take confidence going into it. We are at home against an Oxford side who I think are on a decent run of form at the moment. So if we win, we go joint top of the league. It's an opportunity we've got to take, surely. I know it'll be tough. The squad is very injury hit at the moment, but if you'd offered me a boring game and a scrappy 1-0 win, I'd take that now. But I would say more the confidence has got to be there amongst the players. But I would say right now I'm still 50-50 in terms of, I'd say if we put another 2 or 3 good performances together and positive results, those results being wins, then I'll be more convinced.
All right, fair enough. We are running out of time here, but what happens is when we play Saturday against Oxford, we get three points there. Then we play again on Tuesday. If we win on Saturday and we win on Tuesday, we are guaranteed second place regardless. And
what we haven't talked about the game on Wednesday as well. I know it's the Papa John's against Oldham, but no.
You see there, right? It's there.
No, I can't. I'm sorry.
Sunderland versus Oldham, right?
We may have to go into extra time if that's the case, Phil.
Yeah, well, possibly. I mean, to be honest, I can phone in sick at work if you want. If you want to run over a little bit, if everybody's got time to do that.
And I can't imagine you being that missed, to be honest.
Kerry, away, man. You honestly,
no live stream on Wednesday. Then
people wouldn't realise that me and you are actually buddies. But
it's all good banter, man. Phil, it's all good banter.
Live streams now.
Yeah. So if we win on Saturday, and I know it's all ifs and buts, and then we play on Tuesday, which I believe I think it's Morecambe, isn't it? Morecambe at home, Tuesday. Then regardless, we're in second place. And depending on how Rotherham do, we could very well be top.
And Wigan.
Well, Wigan only play on Wednesday.
Wednesday, is it?
So
who do they play?
I've done my homework.
Who do they play?
I can't remember. I've not done my homework that well. Oh, wait. Chuggers under the bush.
Who do Wycombe play as well, though? Wycombe, do they play Wednesday or Tuesday?
Of that week.
We can play Wednesday as well.
That's around the fixtures, I think, when we play Morecambe.
We can play Shrewsbury a week on Wednesday.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. What would you when we play Oxford? And I know, Jacob, I mean, I've got it on about Oldham here. I'm sort of brushing over it a bit because of the importance of the Papa John's over the league. When we play Oxford, would you put this same team out? Bearing in mind our injuries have racked up a bit now, and is this a team what seems to gel all right? Jack, do you want to start with that?
I think it's all dependent on who we have available, isn't it? I think the Peter Cup at this stage might be a little bit of a distraction. We've got a packed kind of Christmas schedule coming up. We're going to have games left, right and centre. We've also got the Arsenal game before Christmas and the League Cup, haven't we, to factor in. So I think it's just about managing the squad. I would say keep it as close as you can to the team that played on Saturday. Obviously, you will have to factor in injuries and fitness, but don't make too many changes. Only make changes if you have to on injury counts.
Right, Jacob?
Yeah, we on about the game on Wednesday?
No, we're on about the team. Would you stick with the team? I'm concentrating.
I think you'll have no choice, to be honest. I mean, the squad is so injury hit. To be honest, I know there's talk of he might recall Jack Diamond. I mean, it's only small talk at the minute. Who knows? But yeah, I think
let me jump in there. Of course, somebody put in our group chat today. I think it was Jack that said Jack Diamond has actually made it into the League Two team.
Yeah, he did. Didn't he?
He's doing quite well with Harrogate. Isn't he? Go on.
Yeah, I mean, I was going back to what I was saying. I don't think we'll have a choice, to be honest with you. I mean, I'll say that right now is the most effective starting 11 we could possibly go with. And I know it's some, the likes of maybe Gooch playing out of position at times, Diaku having to do more work tracking back on the left-hand side as well. But yeah, if we're at home next week, if we can just up the tempo a little bit, because it did die down second half yesterday against Oxford, then there's no reason why we can't go and get 3 points, but it will be a tough game.
Right, before I come to you, Terry, Hogan, who is Dino's dad down there, says it's been a right bitchy one tonight. Just a bit of banter, just opinions. That's all it is. Everybody's entitled to that. Topsy T 83 says, yesterday was another lucky game. We were outplayed again and should have lost it. The result has again paved the way for more paper to go over the cracks. Still out, LJ out, I'm afraid. Terry, Oxford on Saturday. Would you stick with this team? I mean, it's a winning team, isn't it?
Barring any injuries, we've got no choice, to be fair. I mean, there's only really other first teams to come in, Embleton and O'Brien, and they haven't been playing that well. So if there's nobody sort of comes back from the injury list, we're going to have to play the same team, simple as. So that's the reason why I would not start anybody from that team yesterday in the Papa John's Trophy on Wednesday.
Right, fair enough. Pina Stello says, what's happened with Embleton? Was a star man every week at Blackpool. He has seriously gone off the boil. He has. Right, moving on then to Wednesday night, 7 o'clock kickoff, Sunderland versus Oldham in the Papa John's Trophy. If you're wanting commentary on that game on our channel, who's doing that, Terry?
Me.
Terry is doing the commentary. Very kindly agreed to do the commentary on
for a small fee.
Don't worry, your £5 will be in the post.
Just pay for the live stream, it's fine.
Oh, fine, all right. Sunderland versus Oldham, Papa John's Trophy. A bit of info on this. If it goes to if it's a draw, there's no extra time. It just goes straight to penalties. If it is, and if we are fortunate enough to win, I did start watching your vlog you put on, Terry, before we came on, but I didn't get time to watch it all. I think you said quarterfinals. It's the last 32.
Second round. I was only guessing.
Right, okay. If we do win and get through the next round, then it's drawn unseeded, but regionalised, so we can be drawn home or away, but we will be a team from the northern section. Question I want to put to you all, though, is with the injuries as we have, are we not better now no longer being in this competition? And I know you're going to say no player's going to want to go out and lose a game or whatever, but, the league is the important thing. The last thing we need is injuries now. Terry?
Of course I want to be in the competition. We don't need to play any of the first team. Who started yesterday? We do not need to play one single one of those players. If it means getting a fine, KLD, pay the fine, simple as. I would tempted to bring back Richardson from Spennymoor to play as right back. And when we got left back, I've got a team if you want to see it.
Well, I'm going to say, before you do that, do you honestly think that Lee Johnson will play none of the first team and just play all kids?
Well, apparently they were out on a Christmas night out last night, so to be honest, are any of them going to be effective? The only two people I'll consider putting in the team will be O'Brien and Embleton, just because Embleton needs time and he needs to get his confidence back since he got sent off against Gillingham. And O'Brien, again, probably could do with the game. But we could also have those on the bench and bring them on if needed be later on in the second half. Do you want my team now? Right.
Terry, get the whiteboard.
Right. I mean, I don't know who's fit out of the youngsters because I don't keep up to date with who's fit and who's not fit. But get this across here. Now we have Kearney in goal. Richardson, if he's called back from Spennymoor, or the young lad Johnson could go right back. We have Dyche, who could go at left back or move forward to the left-hand side was done at left back. Alves and Younger, for me, played perfectly well as a partnership. We also got Armand. So Horner and Wilding with Wern, if not Embleton. Then we have Harris up front with Young Taylor on the right-hand side. If he's going to stick to the same formation as he always plays, that's the team I would be tempted to play. We've got plenty of other under-23s who can come in as well. And like you say, if we do get beat, it's not the end of the day, but it's a chance for the young players to shine in a cup and play against League Two opposition. So for me, the majority of the under-23s, it's a great opportunity, which most of them, for me, will perform perfectly well.
Terry, who did your branding in your bottom right-hand corner there for you?
Somebody ages ago gave us a sticker, so I thought I'd put it on there. I found it in the bottom drawer.
Well, if you need any more doing, I know somebody who can do that for you.
No problem.
Jack, should we now be better off not being in this competition?
I've said for a while I don't really see a lot of, unless, like Terry says, unless you're going to play pretty much predominantly youngsters. I don't really see the value.
He won't though, will he? He won't do that. He's not doing that.
I don't really see the value of the tournament of Sunderland AFC unless you're going to use it as an example and a way to blood the youngsters through, which is why I disagree with the idea of giving Sunderland AFC a fine. I think we should be able to turn out whichever team we want to turn out, regardless of whether it's what they would deem the strongest for Sunderland team or whatever. We should be able to play whatever team we want without getting a fine. Don't agree with giving fines out in this tournament, but that's by the by. That's just my personal point. I agree with what Terry says. I wouldn't compromise. We've got a lot of league games coming up. Our squad's injury hit. I would try and keep as many first teamers out of it as possible. Possibly Embleton, like you said, maybe Aidan O'Brien. But I think, some of the youngsters like Wern and Harris in particular, I've looked at and I thought that they're on the fringe of first team anyway. So this is an ideal opportunity now for them to potentially stake the claim. So yeah, I can't disagree with anything he had on the whiteboard. It all looked spot on. Even the brand.
And remember the last time we played on a Wednesday against the Man U under 23s or 21s, we played a full under 23s almost, because Wednesday is so close to Saturday. He's not going to risk any of those first teamers on a Wednesday when they've got to play a massive league match on Saturday against Oxford. If he does, then for me it's pathetic.
Well, it's a fair point in a way. I mean, I don't know if it's admiration or foolishness, but with Lee Johnson, it's like he's gone out to win every one of these games. He's put a strong team. I mean, I've been surprised when the team lineup's been released for these Papa John Trophy games. I've been surprised a lot of times at how strong the team has been. So you can admire him for going out to win it, but then is it not foolish? On the other hand, when the league is the important thing. Jacob, are we not better off out of this competition now?
Listen, my attitude is you need to...
Your attitude stinks, Jacob.
Your attitude's disgusting tonight. You've been awful to Terry.
Cheers.
You've been horrible.
Hang on, just let me... hang on. There you go. That sorts that problem out, doesn't it? Right. Sorry there, Jacob.
I would have happily gone, to be honest.
All right. You and Terry, go and play with your toys together, Marty arses. Right, go on.
No, going back to what I was... Listen, you want to win every... But I'm actually looking forward to the game on Wednesday if we see more youngsters in the starting lineup. The likes of Will Harris, who came on yesterday. Surely he's got to have a place in the starting lineup. On Wednesday, apparently Dyche, the fullback, has been apparently putting in decent performances for the under 23s recently. It'll be good to see him. The likes of what Terry's saying, Richardson coming into the side also. So, but the man who knows those decisions is Lee Johnson. But I understand the likes of giving Alves an Embleton game to Alves. Particularly because that night at QPR he was fantastic in Carabao Cup, and Embleton to get his confidence back after getting sent off. So only Lee Johnson knows that decision, but it'll be good to see the majority of the side made up of young players.
Right, fair enough. Just very quickly, I want to give a shout out to Michael Ballas, who is a big part of the SAFC Fan TV team. He's on the chat there. Michael would have normally been on a Sunday when we do it from the studio, but obviously weather conditions and stuff like that, we've decided to do it remotely. And because Michael's internet is from the 1980s. He's not come on there. I was going to read out his comment, but Terry wants to jump in quickly.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a lot of people over the weekend lost all electricity throughout the villages as well. I mean, there's neighbouring villages to me have had no internet at all. No internet, no electric. So a lot of people would have missed the game yesterday, to be fair.
Terry, you live in a field with a tree and loads of sheep and stuff like that, man. That's where you live. Anyway, Michael
that wall keeps me nice and warm.
Michael says, and entertained. I'd go with as many youth players as possible. The likes of
what does that even mean? Sorry,
was that Jacob?
I don't know what Fane's on about. It was like he's just
right, as many youth players as possible. Patterson, Dash, Younger, Alves, though not from the academy. Wayne, Harris, Embleton, O'Brien. Like we said, you know, I mean, well, Terry, you said they'd be good to get some minutes. Save as many as possible for Oxford. Terry.
I wouldn't even risk Patterson at this moment in time because we need a backup goalkeeper to Hoffman. So, I mean, Kearney could probably just come in and do the same sort of job for me.
AJJ saying Benji up front. I think this is probably Benji's last season, really. I think if he doesn't start to prove it, I mean, I know he got that hat-trick, didn't he, a few weeks ago, but, you know, I think the time is now for him to try and prove himself. Yes, Terry.
When is our next under-23 match? Because that'll have a lot to do with the Barons we play on Wednesday as well. I'm not quite sure. When is the next game? Do you know, Jacob?
What's that, Terry? Sorry, you can't.
When is our next under-23 game? Because if he's going to play a lot of the players, it's going to have Barons on.
Where's Michael Bowers when you need him?
Yes,
exactly. I think Jack's having a look now, so Jack can tell us in a couple of minutes.
Nottingham Forest tomorrow evening.
So that's Monday, so we've got 2 days to recover, so that might influence who we plays tomorrow night as well, if that's the case.
Yeah. Right, just very quickly, DJ Earth, who does our match previews for us on the channel, says, how's CONRAD Lee doing? CONRAD hasn't been on for a while, obviously. Him and Catherine have had a little baby, and they're all babied up, changing nappies, feeding times, and losing sleep. So, yeah, CONRAD came round and brought little Isaac around to see us the other day. So they're doing very well. Just very quickly, lads, on Wednesday then, what about a score prediction from you, Jacob?
Scrappy 1-0 win for the lads.
Against Oldham?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. Jack?
2-0 to Sunderland. That's my 2 penneth.
Terence?
Because I got the correct score yesterday against Cambridge, I'm going to go for a brace. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win for the young lads on Wednesday. 3-1
win. Right. I don't know, Oldham, and you don't know what team they're going to play, do you, as well?
15-0, Phil. Go on, do it.
Behave yourself, Terry. That's never going to happen. You're talking stupid now. I'm going to go for my 3-1 again. I'll be putting the bet on anyway, so I might as well do that. Right, we have gone over, but I'll ring in sick and do that. Thanks for if you've joined us via the live chat. Apologies if we've not managed to get to your comment, Terry.
You better ring in sick because there's no way you can go to work pissed.
Listen, it's Coke Zero. I don't know what you're on about. So thanks for joining. Listen, man, I'll tell you what, it's my first night off in like forever. Well, apart from the 18 months I've just had off. And so I'm having a Diet Coke. I don't drink. Jacob down south, thanks for joining us. Would you just like to say bye to everybody?
Bye, everyone. Have a great week. Stay safe also with the bad weather up north.
Well, bad weather up north. So it's sunny down south.
Yeah, it actually has been today, mate, but very cold.
It didn't look sunny in Cambridge yesterday.
That was yesterday, mate.
Jack, thanks for stepping in for us. You're normally a regular on a Thursday, but we needed you tonight and he stepped in. Have you enjoyed the show?
That's been good crack, apart from the little bit of a set to you and Terry nearly had in the middle. I thought you were going to start praying each other, you know.
Jack, it's our age. When you get to our age, you'll see you get a bit niggly. It's just it's all good banter. Just a bye to everybody, Jack.
See you later, lads and lasses.
There you go. And Terry, we're still mates, me and you, aren't we? Hang on.
I don't even know what he's talking about. Can't even remember that far back. What happened, like?
Fist bump me.
Eh?
Fist
Want to
bump me.
fist bump?
No, wait, man. Go on. Wait, there you go. We're all right.
Yes, good night, everybody. Enjoy your Sunday night. Hopefully, stay sober, unlike somebody.
Nice one. Don't forget, we are going to be live on Wednesday night for Sunderland versus Oldham in the Papa John's Trophy. Join the Mad Mistake for his unique style of commentary. Superb job he does there. He'll be on SAFC Fan TV. For that, make sure you tune in. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, give us a like, and if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, please do so. It is free. We'll be back. Well, Terry will be back on Wednesday. We'll be back on Thursday. We'll see you all then. See you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.